Good evening, folks, and welcome to another episode of Holy Smokes. So, today, I know you guys are waiting to see what you have today. So, today we have the Holy de Monterey Epicure number 2. Now, this is a boss cigar, and we'll be pairing it today with the Havana Club 7-year rum. Exquisite. As you can see, I already started drinking it already, so we got it mashed down a little bit. So today we're gonna touch on a number of different things today. And this is a Cuban cigar, very tasty. I've had a number of these over the years. And this cigar, now you don't want to mess it up by pairing it with something that is not the best, or you cutting your cigar badly, or you lighting your cigar badly. So, straight cut, we're cutting off just a little bit off the tip, just a little bit off the tip. So when you put the cigar inside your cutter, you're not putting that amount, if you can see here. You're not putting that amount, unless you're cutting your cigar for another day, and even that is, questionable sometimes. You just want just a little bit of the tip. So I'm just gonna get up and show you guys just a little bit. So with this cut, clean and precise. All you should have left back is just the cap. Just that little piece there is just the cap. That's all you should have left back, right? And first thing that I do normally after I cut my cigar, I do a dry draw, which means I literally drawing the cigar without lighting it. Now when I do that, I could get a different flavor from the cigar versus when it's lit. And you could also test the draw to see if it's too tight or if it's too loose or whatever the case is as well too. So that's a perfect draw. I would not expect anything less from the Cubans. And we have our 7-year Havana Club rum. This rum has been aged in ex-bourbon barrels. That's the reason for those nice, dark, rich color. Now I have ice in my glass. What I normally do with this kind of drinks, if I don't want to physically add blocks, I just put a little bit of water in my glass, put it in the freezer, let it freeze. So that's just the ice at the bottom of my glass that is actually frozen. And I just drop my drink right on top of that. Now with this rum, you get that vanilla. You can taste the molasses. It's very rich, as you can see from the color. And for a 7-year, not too bad legs on it. The legs just meaning the rum as it comes down the glass. So the legs aren't too bad for a 7-year. This is pretty nice. So I like that. With this rum, you're not getting a very strong in-your-face burn. It goes down nice and smooth. You can taste the cinnamon, you can taste the different fruits and everything. You got that little bit of char from the actual ex-bourbon barrels as well too. So this is a very nice rum. You could drink that straight on ice, without ice. I personally would not mix this in a cocktail. But if you have to mix it in a cocktail, it will have to be a very good cocktail. Whereas it actually lets the rum speak for itself and just kind of lend to whatever you're mixing it with. This is not a rum made to be chased with Sprite or Coke or ginger ale. But at the end of the day, if you buy it, you can do whatever you want with it, right? But I personally, I would just drink that on ice, just like how I'm having it here right now, right? Now, I did my dry draw. The next thing I'm doing, I'm gonna light my cigar. Now, when I'm lighting my cigar, again, you don't want that your torch is so close. I'm actually indoors. If I really wanted, I could use my soft flame lighter, but I like speed, so I'll be moving along. So I'm just toasting it lightly. It might seem as if I'm really close, but I'm not like super, super close to it. I'm probably about 2 inches away or so from the actual cigar. Now I can just let it toast a little bit, then I can draw. Then I go again. So I just want that the ends looking nice and red. That's the reason why I blow on it, to see how much of it that we have burning and evenly. Because if your cigar is lit unevenly, it's going to burn unevenly all the way through, and you're not going to have a really good experience. You can have something called canoeing. You could canoe, whereas you had all in here would be burnt out, and then you only have cigar on the ends. Nice, a little bit more, and we're there. This is such a tasty cigar. You know, one thing about cigars and the culture, and anybody smoking a cigar, you could go anywhere in the world and you light up a cigar anywhere in the world, the first thing that people are going to ask, is that a Cuban? Because most people think that Cuba is the only place that makes cigars. Nice. There are a lot of countries that make cigars. You have Honduras, you have Mexico, you have Ecuador, you have Dominican Republic, you have Cameroon, you have Indonesia. So you have a lot of places. You have Nicaragua, can't forget Nicaragua. You have a lot of places that make some excellent tobacco, that grow some excellent tobacco, and produce some top-notch cigars. Cuban cigars are very good. We would never disrespect Cuban cigars. This is a perfect pairing here. We got Cuban rum, we got Cuban cigar. But thing to note is there are other people that making a lot of great cigars. And what a lot of you guys might not know is that a lot of the companies that are in like countries like Dominican Republic, Honduras, Nicaragua, they were originally in Cuba. Obviously, we already know what happened to Cuba and what happened. A lot of people would have fled after all the mess that happened in Cuba, migrated to places like Dominican Republic, open up a factory, go again. Leave Cuba, go to Nicaragua, open up a factory, go again. So you have a lot of the companies would have started in Cuba. People would have left, set up in other countries, growing similar tobacco, or what we call Cuban seed tobacco, and set up down there and start growing. And Cuban seed means just that. The seed of the tobacco plant would have come from Cuba. You take that seed from Cuba, you go to the Dominican Republic, you set up your farm, you drop those seeds in the ground. Now you have Cuban seed tobacco, but grown in someplace else. So it's not to say that Cuba is the only place that makes excellent cigars. A lot of those companies and those families, a lot of them are family owned, migrated to these countries and just continued doing what they were doing. They didn't miss a beat. And that way we get good cigars from Cuba, good cigars from other countries. And you can't knock it because it's a match made in heaven, you know? And obviously in Dominican Republic, a lot of these other countries, some of the leaves could be a bit darker. They also make Connecticut. They also make Sumatras, you know, or squirrel wrappers, you know, all of those kind of things. So you have a good mix. You have a really, really good mix. And these are made to be enjoyed in good company, good friends, good libation, and you're good to go. Oops. Gotta go again. The other thing too with cigars is that you should not bully your cigar. Meaning you should not be speeding on your cigar. So you put the cigar to your mouth, you take a break, have a conversation, take it back up, you go again. Last time we touched on storing cigars, so we got that covered. The other thing is etiquette. One thing I would say in relating to other people who smoke cigars is that you never belittle somebody. Sometimes you will go, man, what's that you smoking? Or you smoking Cubans? I want a Cuban cigar, man. Let me know what they're doing. If you like Cuban cigars and I like Honduran cigars, maybe come together. We should be able to have a good conversation, good quality conversation talking about our cigars. What you like, what you don't like. Because at the end of the day, there are so many companies in the world producing cigars. It is almost impossible for you to try every cigar there is out there. That's why for me, I like to buy lots of cigars. I spend an obscene amount of money on cigars. But that's because I like to try things. I like that when I go into my humidor and I open those doors, I have a variety of things to go about with my taste. Today, I might not be feeling to drink rum. I might feel to drink whiskey. But do I want to drink my whiskey with this Cuban? Not necessary. Do I want to drink the pair my whiskey with a Nicaraguan? Maybe not. Might want to pair it with something else. The size of the cigar. Now, this cigar is like a 4 7/8 by a 50 ring gauge for this particular cigar. So a nice robust cigar. This can take me a little bit of time. So obviously I'm not going to sit down here with you guys for the next hour and a half smoking this cigar. But this is a nice robust cigar that deserves a nice robust drink. And that's, again, you want the variation. You got whiskeys, you got peaty whiskeys, you got smoky whiskeys, you got blended whiskeys, you got rums. You got 7-year, 5-year, 10-year, 14, 18, limited cask series rums. So you have a lot of options with your drinks and your cigars. Me personally, I prefer rum. Second place, whiskey. So, as I was saying, if you go to a lounge and a man likes smoking Cubans, you don't belittle the man. We have a conversation, we talk about the different tastes that you like and what's not. So that's one thing I would say that you should never do in a cigar lounge when it comes to interacting with people in relation to cigars. A man's taste is a man's taste. You know, the only thing we will point out to you though is that if you're in a cigar lounge and you're smoking your cigar incorrectly, rest assured that we will tell you something. If a man comes in with his torch and he just take it out and, you know, that's decide to scorch it, we will tell you something. In love. We will speak in love. We won't lambaste you. This is a really, really nice cigar. For anybody getting into the cigar, not only into the cigar world, but anybody that looking to get into smoking Cuban cigars, I would suggest this Epicure number 2. You know, and it's simple. It is very all the way through in terms of the flavor that you're gonna get from the cigar. You're gonna get that cigar all the way through. With the Cuban cigars, I find personally, whatever flavor you get, so you're picking up some notes of like a little bit of cinnamon, cocoa, that kind of taste, that kind of tasting note you get into the cigar, right? So nice, this is a light to medium cigar. So you can have this if you are a morning smoker. You can have this in the morning with a coffee. This will pair very well with a coffee, or Irish coffee, as in a coffee with a little bit of something inside of it. I will pair well with something along those lines. Definitely will pair well with something in those lines. So, as we were saying about the etiquette and what's not, so there are a lot of different things you should and should not do. You can find a lot of information up there in relation to how to cut. Should I punch? Should I V-cut? Should I straight cut? Again, it all comes down to preference. There will be some things that you probably might not want to do. Like for instance, if you have a real big ring gauge cigar, you might not necessarily want to punch it because you're going to get all the flavors, all the smoke and all the flavor going to be stuck. So you might end up getting a bitter taste at the top if you have a big ring gauge cigar and you punch it. That's why if I cut, me personally, I cut my cigar straight cut. I want to get the full flavor, everything coming right out of it. I don't want anything stopping or restricting or anything, so I want all of my flavor. I used to punch a lot of my cigars before, but as you get more immersed in the culture, more immersed in smoking different cigars and trying things out for yourself, you will find the right formula for yourself. And there's no one formula for everybody. That's the other thing as well too. Yeah. And try it. Just try different things. You know, you're out there, just try different things. Try different flavors, try different ring gauges, try different some might be sweet, some might be flavored with something else. I personally don't go for the flavored cigars now versus for when I first got into the game of cigar smoking. Even right now, I'm also smoking pipes. So you buy pipe tobacco. And smoking a pipe is a whole different ball game than smoking a cigar. And I would say cheaper, because you could buy a bag of pipe tobacco that might cost you $9 or whatever, and you pack your pipe, and from one packing, and you pull your pipe, that might last you 30 minutes or even longer, depending on how good you packed it. And you have a bag of tobacco that could last a very, very long time. You know, so you got a lot of different train of thoughts up there when it comes to the, cigars versus pipe. At the end of the day, it's all the same plant, yeah? All the same plant. But you would then use them in different aspects. Meaning, I'm inside, just chilling out. I could go for either or, pipe or cigar. If I'm outdoors doing something or whatever the case is, let me say just taking a leisurely walk or whatever, I could possibly go for a pipe, just going at it. And you got some options out there, guys. You got a lot of different options when it comes to this lifestyle, to this culture. And I think everything should be embraced. Yeah? Embrace everything. A lot of different brands out there. When it comes to these cigars, one of my favorites will be Epicure. Anything for Epicure I could smoke. Anything. His long play, short play, limited edition cigars, those were excellent. The Pledge, excellent cigar as well. You got the Allegiance. You have a Pledge of Allegiance. You got some really good cigars from him. Another good cigar brand that I love, Perdomo. 20th anniversary Perdomo. Favorite. Champagne, Perdomo. Another excellent cigar. You cannot go wrong with these guys and their cigars at all, at all. And there's a whole plethora of different brands out there, again. And each one of these guys, they have a whole lot of cigars in their lineup. So my thing is, go up there, spend some money, buy a cigar, try it. If you don't like it, try a different one in the same line, from the same company. Just try them. Different strength, different sizes, different wrappers. You have Connecticut, you have Sumatra, you have Oscuro, you have, Maduro. And give me a good Maduro cigar any day. And you have so many options, so many brands, so many guys out there producing some top quality cigars. So my thing, get out there, try these cigars. Try it. Thank you for joining me today.